woke, rousted, or just plain toxic? Hello, this is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Today we are going to take a brief look at what is called woke culture. We'll take a look at where the term originated, what it was meant to be, and what it means today. Here at the Objective News Network, we use an advanced research tool called Authentification that allows us to scan the internet and bring back to us in a matter of seconds only the best sources of valid information to support all of our news stories. Okay, let's type in the term woke culture into Authentification. Authentification immediately takes us to this data set at Al Jazeera entitled, Why Woke Became Toxic. The term woke has become so divisive that it is harming support for the issues it is meant to be highlighting. Close quote. Here, the author, Johnny Luck, tells us, and I quote, in the West, the term woke has become a lightning rod on both the left and the right, a symbol of a modern culture war, but its origins are far from modern. It first emerged in the US in the 1940s from the word awake and was used to describe someone who is well informed on the issues of social injustice, particularly racism. In its original use, it meant being alert to the specific discrimination and systemic harm suffered by African Americans. Thus, being woke implies one has awakened from a slumber, rather like the protagonist Neo after being unplugged from the Matrix in the movie of the same name. More recently, it has been adopted as a ubiquitous watchword for a wide variety of issues and social movements, including the LGBTQ issues, feminism, immigration, climate change, and marginalized communities, close quote. Luck goes on, quote, but this broad use of the term has caused it to become heavily weaponized by both the left and the right, turning what was once a welcoming creed into a toxic and diverse word, particularly in Western countries, including the US, Canada, the UK, and other European nations. This toxicity is in large part due to activists failing to develop the necessary coalitions to instill the change campaigners are advocating for. This is a shame because the messages of inclusivity and diversity underpinning wokeness should not be so easily dismissed, close quote. But, and again I quote, unfortunately the instinct of modern wokeness seems to shut down such a debate. The famous author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, found herself at the center of a woke storm after liking a tweet by Maya Forstater, who lost her job in 2019 after tweeting that male people are not women. The reaction was immediate, with some accusing Forstater of killing trans people with her hate, close quote, for simply expressing an opinion. Social media has also raised the stakes. Where an offensive remark may once have resulted in a scolding from a friend or a foe, people are now only a tweet away from being canceled, a relatively new term for withdrawing one's support for a person, which could result in losing your job or even worse, close quote. Now, let's go back to authentication. Here we are immediately taken to this article appearing at Outkick.com, telling us, and I quote, an analogy used to mean sincere remorse for an error or moment of bad judgments. Apologies now are often acts of surrender, a plea to the woke masters for just one more chance. Today, people apologize because they are more afraid than sorry. Today it seems that we as Americans, whether your personal skin color is black, red, yellow, brown, or white, are being forced to walk a cultural gauntlet, scared that what you say may be used to forever stereotype you as a racist, a white supremacist, a honky, a progressive baby-killing liberal, an anti-women's rights baby-saving conservative, a crazy spending Democrat, a Republican penny pincher, a Trump lover, or a Biden liberal, or some other type of label intended to slur you. Too frequently, this type of misbehavior crosses the line of civil discourse and enters into the realm of disrespect and an outright insult. Nonetheless, hollow apologies abound for saying this or that because it offended, rightly or wrongly, a certain person or group out there that you may have affronted. Take Whoopi Goldberg on The View, who dared to voice her hypothesis that only people of color can be victims of racism. Goldberg used the analogy of the Jewish people and the Holocaust as an example of, quote, man's inhumanity to man, close quote, in a way that inferred that the Jewish people were not really victimized by the Nazis because of their race, but for other reasons. Goldberg was swiftly punished with a 2-week suspension by her ABC bosses for her, quote, wrongful and hurtful, close quote, comments about, quote, Jews and the Holocaust, close quote, after she rousted the American Jewish community. Or how about the case of crime author James Patterson, who apologized for noticing that, quote, publishing companies are not looking to hire white males anymore, close quote. Patterson, too, was brought before the tribunal of the woke publishing industry for daring to express his belief. No one apparently bothered to look into whether his allegation was true or not. He, too, apologized for daring to even raise the hypothesis that reverse racism may exist. Every week, we hear about another person in the public view expressing an opinion to only apologize later for expressing what they truly believe. The woke tribunal and major media, it appears, have rendered freedom of speech before the masses as obsolete. Truly, this is too bad, because this type of behavior only serves to stifle the type of open, honest, and civil discourse so necessary to tackle tough things like racism and the need for greater inclusivity of all Americans around the core values all of us can believe in. False apologies to keep people from talking and airing their opinions and beliefs on the critical issues of the day do more damage than good. False apologies only serve to thwart the civil discourse so essential to find consensus on tough issues, to lead the path forward towards any ultimate goal. What is happening today in our country is a crisis of the majority. Whether you are a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or an independent, regardless of your skin color and religion, there are certain basic values that we all share as human beings. Some of these are virtue, honesty, the love of family, the right to own property, and the proposition that all of us as Americans will treat one another as equals in life and under the law. What we really need in this country is to roust the slumbering bears out there to take part in the revitalization of the nation's moral compass in ways that bring us together and stop tearing ourselves apart. It is what it is for December 26, 2022. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Please subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you the next time.